This is workshop number 2, and we are going to be talking about module number 2 from the workbook, which is creating an action plan for your career. I strongly suggest, if you haven't done module 1, which is all about identifying situations and emotions that make you feel good or bad, that you start there, because when you create an action plan for your career, you want to be able to have identified the things that make you happy. So if you find that goal setting and achieving your goals, when you hit those goals, makes you feel really accomplished, and that's an emotion that you enjoy feeling, you want to be able to build in a lot of goals into your action plan for your career. If you enjoy training other people, if you enjoy mentoring, giving back, teamwork, all of those things you'll be able to identify in module 1, and then you can build them into your career action plan. So, and also if you feel like you have a health issue or your finances really are having a negative impact on you, you may want to start off there. But for most of you, starting with your career is going to be the best place. So what are you going to do first? This is planning for professionals. So as you know, it always begins with a mind flush. So take a blank piece of paper or a lined piece of paper, and I want you just to think about everything that you want to do with your career. I always like to start off with short term. What are the things that I need to accomplish this week, next month? And then you get to the fun part. What do you want to achieve in the next year, the next 5 years, or the next 10 years? For some reason, your brain just finds it much easier to plan long term, because it seems very easy to think about retiring in 20 years. It thinks it's very easy to think about where you'll be in 10 years, but to think about what you've got to do this month or next month seems a lot more challenging. So make that list, go through everything that you can think of. If it's training classes that sound like they may be fun, if you maybe want to do some kind of extra learning, you know, like a degree, I couldn't think of the word then. A degree, a master's, some kind of practical training, whatever it may be, write it down. If you have dreams of owning your own business, put that down, because to be able to own your own business, you're going to have to work so hard at this job to earn enough money and get the experience and the discipline. So all of those things are valid. So write them all down. When you feel like you're stuck and you can't think of anything else, start very short term. So think about the things that you want to accomplish in the next week or two, and then in the next few months, because those are your very short term goals. And then go back over thinking, what do you want to do in medium term, which is the next year or 2 years, or probably up to the next 5 years. And then the long term goals are going to be those ones in the next probably 5 to 20 years time, depending on how old you are. And write them down. Be brave, be confident, even if it sounds crazy and you have no idea if it's something you'd actually enjoy. If you've thought about doing it for your career, write it down. And then you are going to go through and prioritize that list. There is no right way to prioritize the list. There is no wrong way to prioritize the list. It is based on what you want to do. So if you want to build some momentum with your career, if you want to work on getting a lot of small things done, hitting small goals, making some process changes, making some small changes in how you do your job, whether it's becoming more efficient at planning your day, doing the mind flushes, if you're focused on that, that is great. Those would be your priorities. But if you feel like you've got a pretty good grip on that and you're wanting to set some bigger goals, maybe stepping up with responsibility so that you can eventually run your department, if that's your goal, or maybe it is getting some training that may take a long time, but would be beneficial, prioritize that. There is no right way or wrong way to prioritize it. But you are going to decide one of those big goals, something that will take maybe a few months to achieve, maybe even a couple of years, and that is going to be your number one career priority. So getting a degree would be a great example. It's something that will take a while to do. Or if you really want to work towards getting more responsibility in your department, that would also be something that would take longer. Whatever you prioritize, whatever is going to give you the most impact in your career and the most satisfaction is now going to be your number one career priority. And you are going to create an action plan for that priority. And so just like you schedule action plans for process improvements or fixing an issue or hitting a goal in your department, you're going to do that for whatever your number one career priority is. And so you are going to make a SMART goal, or as smart as you can, because you need to make sure it's specific and measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based, so that you can identify that, yes, in 2 years' time you've hit your goal, because it's a SMART goal. So you're going to then decide what action you need to take. So if it is running your department, or if it is completing some kind of training class, or getting a degree, or whatever it may be, you are then going to break down the steps involved, and then you're going to do a really, really detailed mind flush on how you would achieve it. So for example, if you want to run your department, then you would do things like making sure that you are the best person that's ever done your job. You're going to add value in everything that you do. You're going to improve the processes that you are able to improve. You are going to go to your boss and you're going to ask for more responsibility. You're going to talk to your co-workers and you're going to ask them how that you can help them. Is there anything that they need to do? If someone else needs help, how can you learn as much as possible? You're going to write down all the things that you would have to do. What training classes do you need? What extra skills do you need to increase your computer skills? Do you need to learn more about other departments, so that if you step up and take more responsibility, you can work with those other departments? So you're going to do a very, very detailed mind flush on how you can achieve that goal. And then you're going to prioritize those steps that you need to take, and then you're going to anticipate the obstacles, because remember, when you anticipate the obstacles, that creates your strategy for hitting your goal. So think about all the things that could go wrong, all the things that are going to come up to stop you achieving your goal, and decide ahead of time how you are going to fix that situation. And then you are going to schedule anything on your calendar that you can do right now. So for example, if you need to have meetings with your boss, if you need to have meetings with co-workers, if you need to just figure out how you're going to manage your time better so that you maximize the most make the most of every single hour in the day, and you have your priorities in order so that you can show that you are the kind of employee who deserves more responsibility. And so that is it. You create that action plan for your number one career priority, and then each day you're going to schedule something from that action plan, or at least every week, that's going to get you closer to your goal. Okay, so that should make sense. It's a lot of work, but believe me, it is worth it. If I could turn this camera around, you would see that, oh, I can actually, let's see if I can do this. You can see here, I have my 10-year goals all written out there, and they're right by my desk so that I can see them at all times. And I do have detailed plans, but I don't want a detailed plan in front of me. I just want my 10-year goal just to keep me focused. So we also talked about creating key values for your career, or unifying principles, whichever you want to call them. And so if you did module 1, you know the emotions that you really enjoy feeling, you know the things that make you feel good. So you want to try and build in as many of those feelings into your key values. And you want to be able to decide, how do you want to feel at work? Do you want to feel accomplished? Do you want to feel motivated? Do you want to feel like you are a team builder? How do you want people to identify you? When you think about your work legacy, what do you want to be remembered for? Being a hard worker, someone who's always honest, someone who's open-minded. And so think about the emotions you enjoy and how you want to be remembered, and then start thinking about some key values that you can create for work. The examples I used were treat the customer like family, under promise, over deliver, lead by example, inspire, guide, and teach. Because when you actually decide who you want to be in advance, it gives you something to aim for, and you will be the best person that you can possibly be and inspire other people, particularly when you create a really good action plan for your number one career priority. So good luck. It's a lot of work, but it's worth doing.